5 books and counting. The Tales from the Omni Vault continues to expand as a universe. Go ahead and check the links down in the description to get your copies today. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Omni Viewer, and as I'm sure you've heard, Godzilla Minus One is being nominated for all kinds of awards. Over in Japan, where the Japanese Academy has been nominating it for everything from Best Effects to Best Director to Best Actor to Best Actress, all on and on. Like, it's getting nominated in every category, and I think there's an expectation that it's at least going to take quite a few of them, if not sweep the whole thing. Over here in America, though, things are different. You see, the Oscars are coming up, and they decided, the crew behind Minus One decided to have Minus One be submitted for every category it could be. Because, you know, it did really well over here, so why not? Take the shot, right? However, the list of nominees has been released, and while a bunch of other people are focusing on Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie getting snubbed for Barbie, we Godzilla fans are noticing that despite being nominated, or at least being submitted for every category, Godzilla Minus One has only gotten one nomination in the Best Special Effects category. A lot of people are calling this a snub and saying that it's just further evidence that there's a secret, well, not so secret, simmering hatred for Godzilla Minus One among the Hollywood establishment. Whether or not it's true, I don't know. I do know that the Academy does have a tendency to send messages in a way based on what gets nominated and what wins. I've seen it happen before. So the fact that Godzilla Minus One only got the effects nomination could very well be the Academy saying, we don't see this as anything more than just a big dumb sci-fi monster movie. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are upset by this, but I'm here to remind you all that the Oscars really don't matter. They haven't mattered for a long time. They really stopped mattering in recent years. The Oscars in their current form literally are it's just a huge ego fest where a bunch of people congratulate themselves in an actual echo chamber. But even back in the day, like back before it became what it is now, the Oscars really didn't mean that much. Like, there are plenty of movies that, you know what? I actually have a list here. I'm just going to read you a list of Oscar-winning movies from throughout the years. It's a short list because I don't want to keep you here too long, but these are some of the movies that won in various categories, mostly Best Picture and things like that. So, these titles include Chocolat, In the Bedroom, The Reader, Babel, and The Broadway Melody. Now, I'm guessing quite a few of you probably haven't heard of most of those. The only ones I can think that you might have heard of would be The Reader, because of the joke that nobody actually saw The Reader, yet it got so many nominations, and The Broadway Melody, because you might be thinking, isn't that the song from Singin' in the Rain? And yes, it is, but the movie is something totally different. It won an Oscar. You don't remember it. I assure you, this is a legitimate list. You can fact check me if you want, but these are movies that won an Oscar, and yet they are more or less forgotten. And to counter that, here's a list of movies that didn't win Oscars, either because they weren't nominated at all, or they were nominated but they lost to something else. And here's what that list is comprised of: The Shawshank Redemption, 12 Angry Men, Singin' in the Rain, The Shining, Rear Window, Edward Scissorhands, Psycho, and the original 1933 King Kong. I'm guessing you've heard of all of those. Those are the movies that turned out to have staying power. At the time, they weren't considered worthy of the Academy's highest honors, and yet they're the movies we all remember, whereas the Oscar winners from various years, flip a coin, there's a pretty good chance quite a few of them faded into obscurity. They left no impact. The only thing you can say is that whoever made them could then say from that point onward that they were Oscar winners, but the actual work they did, it's just left in the dust. And all of that is to say that Godzilla Minus One really doesn't need an Oscar. It could potentially win, although I don't necessarily think it's going to. If it does, it just means the Academy's throwing us a bone, and if it doesn't, that means they have completely decided to snub it, and could be good evidence that there really is some hatred for the film. But if it doesn't win, my message to Yamazaki and the entire cast and crew is that it doesn't matter. Godzilla Minus One doesn't need a little gold statue to prove itself. It already proved itself. It not only did well domestically in Japan, it did well everywhere. And that success was generated by word of mouth from people who went to see it, whether they were fans or not. And I think that really matters. Combine its present-day success with the fact that it's just the latest entry in what is officially the longest-running and most prolific film series ever, Eat Your Heart Out, James Bond. No one's going to be forgetting Godzilla Minus One anytime soon. And if it doesn't win an Oscar, as I just demonstrated, that means it's keeping some very good company. So, if it wins, I'm sure the crew will be grateful. I'm sure that it would mean a lot to them. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like they wouldn't be happy to get it. But at the same time, if they don't, so what? Anyway, those are my thoughts on the matter. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. Thank you all for watching. Now be sure to head down to the description to check us out on other platforms, as well as find links to the 5 current books in the Tales from the Omni Vault universe. Again, thank you all, and we'll see you next time.